Stay positive, test negative.
This podcast is brought to you by Stay Forward, but Test Negative.
Yeah.
To whoever may need this nugget of encouragement, things will be alright, so quit your worry. I get it, the odds can stack back against the wall, but if you consider it such, no, you'll stand tall. Sat and watch from the sidelines one too many times. Wicked games play, make me wanna lose my mind.
I just wish you would step back from that ledge. All right, say a word or two.
A word or two.
Okay.
Is that good? More?
I would understand. Wish you would step
Pink
back
Pony
from
Girl?
that ledge, my friend. I would under.
It's my safe word now.
Yuck. Oh, let me make sure I put my phone on silent. All right, hey Alexa, pause. Oh, I hear that fan is what it was.
Yeah.
If your balls get hot, you can definitely turn that fan on.
Turn it on?
If you get hot,
Oh, good. Yeah, turn that bitch off.
turn it off. You're like right there. Okay. Could just got up. All right.
Yeah.
Make sure my balls aren't showing. Okay. Yeah, get it all out. Are you gonna open those or what? All right. So as you're talking, you need to make sure that the mic is like here.
Like right here?
It needs to be like it's omnidirectional. So like if you
Like right here. That's
if
really
you want
loud.
to turn it on like this, well, I mean we can turn your.
Can you hear me or can only I hear me?
Can you hear me?
No.
Can you hear me now?
No.
Can you hear me now?
No.
Can you not for real?
No.
Check, mic check, 1 2 1 2, mic check, 1 2 1 2.
I do now.
I don't. I feel like you heard me at first.
I really didn't. This is super loud. I'm going to go.
Well, it's super loud because I have your mic.
Okay.
That's not loud. It's this. Like your headset. Hold on.
Oh,
check.
the
So
headset's
I'm
loud?
on number
Okay.
2.
Yeah.
All right. So can you hear yourself at all?
No.
Good. You shouldn't. You shouldn't be able to.
You don't want me to hear myself at all?
No. I just wanted you to hear the difference. That's halfway.
Oh, I kind of liked hearing myself a little bit.
Well, yeah. You should be able to hear yourself now. Is what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear myself a little bit.
Okay. All right, here's another episode of Stealing from Friends. Now, most of my friends that come on here actually have value to give, whereas this friend, however, doesn't have as much value, but he is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to all things the military. Now, I wouldn't say every single aspect of the military, but and that's not even going to be the focus today. The focus is going to be more so around being resilient, because this piece of shit has come all the way from Nevada, land of the party and HIV. And so he's going to kind of give us some insights on all that good stuff. But so before I get into my questions, McCarty Daniels, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing great. I mean, I'm here representing Sauvage by Dior. You know, if you want to look like a douchebag, it's the only cologne to wear. If you want to look like you wear nose rings, earrings.
Okay.
You know, I already wear both of those every day, so I'm like a walking red flag. It's kind of the game plan.
It's one of those things of like, hey, if you see he's a 10, but he wears a nose ring.
Yeah, which makes you a 15, baby.
it actually takes me up a little bit.
Yeah. It's ego boost.
Walk me all the way back. So you're in the military. For those who are watching, it's not necessarily a military podcast, but just so you guys can get an understanding of where we are. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do now, what you've done, and all that good stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I'm from Nevada, as our brilliant
Host. You can call me host.
I was getting there.
Thank you.
I just wanted to add a little bit of emphasis there.
You said brilliant twice. That's not giving me as much.
Brilliant host that was
Gracious
unrelatedly
enough.
fired from recruiting and retention.
We'll get into that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm from Reno, Nevada. Grew up there. I joined the Army in high school as a senior. Ended up getting stationed in upstate New York. Don't recommend it at all to anybody.
New York seems like the land of the free.
You know, you would think so, but I'm talking like upstate New York, where it's more southern than the South.
Okay. So
it's different.
We'll get into that piece here in a second too. Okay. So you end up getting. I want to dissect some of this, but I'm gonna let you go as far as you are, and then I'm gonna end up going back. So
Okay,
New York,
that's cool. And like you said, if you want to stop too, I mean, I'm more than happy to.
Thank you for letting me know how to direct my
There's a lot
podcast.
to unpack here.
It is, and I want you to know that I'm going to direct it how I'm able to do.
2 briefcases worth of unpack.
unpacking.
Okay, yeah. Anyway,
Mhm.
so was stationed up there, upstate New York. It gets about a brisk negative 30 degrees with wind chill factor. And you know, if it ain't snowing, we ain't going. If it ain't raining, we ain't training. You know, that kind of saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. They the 10th Mountain Division lives by that. So, yeah. Laying in the snow a lot was great. You had to have a special sock sometimes because you're laying in the snow so much.
Okay, so walk me all the way through it briskly.
Okay.
And so you end up from New York to where?
I was there for 4.5 years. Had a deployment to Afghanistan, got out, actually moved back to Nevada. And from there, I tried the civilian thing out a little bit, started going to school, going to college. I was looking at being a dental hygienist. Very competitive there in Reno for that program. Had a pretty high GPA, wasn't high enough, but I had to retake some classes. And I was like, man, military really wasn't that bad. So I ended up trying out the Guard. And from there, I ended up living in Las Vegas, was there a couple years.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, Vegas was cool. It was a good experience. It was a wild time. I'll tell you that.
Only
Woke up
imagine.
in a few hotel rooms, didn't know where I was at, didn't know who I was with.
That's
but
what I'm
that
talking
kind
about.
of thing, you
That's
know.
what I'm talking about.
Boss is like, where the heck you at, bro? And I'm like, yeah, you'd never guess. And he would guess exactly. He'd hit it on the money. But then from there, I actually ended up ISTing, interstate transferring to Arkansas, and I've been here for almost 4 years.
Perfect. Okay. Woo. All right, so walk me all the way back. What type of person were you in high school that made you to get joining the military? The reason I ask is because oftentimes people assume the military is a plan B when plan A doesn't work out, but what made you actually go that route?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a plan B. I was very fortunate. My father actually had saved a college fund for me. So did my grandfather. I had money to go to college.
Yeah.
Now, I was just making a lot of bad decisions at the time, hanging out with the wrong people. You know, I mean, I was 18 years old. I mean, you know what you're doing. at 18 years old.
How old do you have to be for that not to be an excuse anymore?
You know, I'm about to be 31 and I'm still making some questionable decisions. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
But
Somebody came and said, McCreary, you need to join the military, dude.
you know, I didn't take JROTC my freshman year. I kind of thought it was
What's
for dorks.
JRTC?
Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps. It's like a beginning to the ROTC program, but for high school. A little taste in the military. It was there were weird people in it, like to keep people trying to avoid like doing like working out, doing weights, doing PE, that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
You know? But a couple of my buddies were doing it, and like I had always kind of considered joining the military. I was actually looking at the Marine Corps for a long time, but you know, boats, being stuck out at sea for 6 months on a MEU,
Wasn't a cup of tea for
it wasn't the game plan.
you.
Man.
Yeah. Because you can't swim, right?
No, I can't swim.
Okay. I mean, if you're scared, go to church.
You can tell I can swim if you look at me.
What am I looking at? I don't know if you can tell by my physique, but
okay, yeah.
pretty grade A swimmer.
That's not
over
where I
here.
was going with that, but okay.
Well, I
continue
mean,
on.
the tan.
No.
Oh, I was going to
Continue. It's okay.
Okay, so you end up, they said, McCreary, go to the Army? Like, at what point now are you saying, this is what I need to be doing?
Man, so I had really thought about what I wanted to do for a long time, and then I kind of just stopped because, like I said, I was hanging out with a lot of people that just weren't really caring about their futures, like just drinking a lot, doing other
There's nothing wrong with
extracurricular
drinking.
activities, you know,
There's nothing wrong with drinking.
No. But we it just was not the right path.
Okay.
You know, to be I was not focused.
I gotcha.
And hanging out with them, going down that wrong path, hanging out with those people, like it didn't really have me thinking about my future anymore at that point. Like I didn't think about going to college at all. I wasn't considered. I didn't really consider it.
Yeah.
I didn't even take the ACT or the SAT.
Out of high school?
I didn't even take it in high school. No, I just didn't show up.
Okay, so you knew, or you didn't even have a single thought in your plan to do college at all?
Not really. At that point, I think I was kind of like, I'm just gonna go in the military and get out of here. And I mean, it's funny enough. Like I walked into the Marine Corps office, and I can't remember the recruiter's name right now, but they sold me this we're the best, we're the toughest. The Marine Corps speech.
Absolutely.
We did it. We went through all their cards, their recruiting effort, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And I'm all pumped up about it. And then I'm asking, like, I start talking to this dude, and I'm like, well, what's your job? He's like, oh, I'm a refrigeration mechanic. I was like, that's gay. So, getting the ick. You ever heard of like the saying, I got the ick? I got the ick real bad.
Based off of him telling you what his current job
He
was.
Which, honestly, thinking about it, is actually a great career. Refrigeration mechanic, working on HVAC.
Correct, yeah.
It is. But at the time, I was 18 years old.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to be an infantryman,
That's
man.
stupid.
So he sold me on that. And then they told me, like, you couldn't pick your specific job. Like, you could pick, like, a category, but not your specific job. So I was like,
That was a red flag.
Yeah. So I walked out the office, walked across the parking lot into the Army office. Dude was 6'5", jacked. He was an infantryman, told me some cool stories, gave me some cool stuff. And you know what? That's all it took to sell me.
Like, how long was that process from you going to talk to Incredible Hulk to them to you going to raise your right hand?
Not long, because I was 18 my senior year, the beginning of my senior year in September.
So you just had to wait.
Yeah, I didn't have to wait. I didn't need a parental signature. Like, my parents freaked out, actually. Yeah.
Parents weren't even about the military.
No, my mom was okay with it. My dad was not about it. No, not at all.
Even though you're an adult at this point.
Yeah, they actually went down to the recruiter office with a tape recorder and grilled the recruiter.
Dang.
Homie gave me a call after. He's like, bro, you owe me.
So you didn't have any people in your life previously that were even in the military? That was an influence, so
not really in my life. My great grandfather was he was in World War II. He was in the Air Force, and I think was still part of the Army, the Air Corps. And he was on one of the bombers and was actually shot down. Was a POW for a while. And so he did all that, but that's really the only person in my family that had been in the military.
So he wasn't that good at being in the military because he got shot down or what?
If you want to knock it down to that, his plane was also taken off and it exploded, and that's how he died.
Kobe Bryant got shot down. So,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Was he in a helicopter, like a fixed wing?
No, it was a bomber, so it was fixed wing. Yeah.
Gotcha. People don't know what bombers are. So
Okay, I got you. Yeah, but like we read some of his letters, and like if you read his letters, like he would explain how bad the condition the aircraft were during World War II. He'd be like, you could see fuel leaking out of the aircraft
as a normal day-to-day type of.
Yeah, it's like getting ready to take off and fuel's leaking on the runway. Like that's pretty wild.
Now, here's the thing. You look at it from our perspective. Somebody with just a crappy car, you got a leak in a parking lot. I'm still driving that bad boy. I just need to get from A to Z.
Yeah, that thing's not flying though.
No, you're right. So you end up joining. Folks weren't happy, and now it's time for you to actually ship out. So now what's running through your mind, what's happening, and all that good stuff. And then I guess where do you find out you're going to New York?
So like shipped out. Yeah, my dad was more cool with it by the time I actually shipped out because I had the whole school year like for them to get used to it. And like when I actually shipped out, I was happy about it, man. I was happy to get out of Reno, go experience some new stuff. Myself, like I have a different kind of mindset than a lot of people. Like I don't want a family, I don't want kids, I don't want any of that.
Which is okay.
It is, and then a lot more people these days are starting to think that way and get away from like that traditional mindset.
I gotta
have a house, gotta have kids, gotta get married, all that stuff.
You're actually pissed you got a house.
Yeah, I'm trying to sell that thing in another 8 months to avoid that tax. But yeah, they were cool with it. I shipped out and went to Fort Benning for basic training. It's called Fort Moore now, I think. Yeah, and was there for 16 weeks. And
did you end up getting your job to shoot pow pow bang bang, that type of stuff? Did you end up getting that job you wanted?
Yeah, I did. I was an infantryman.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Which is exactly what I wanted to be. And it like getting. That's kind of down the road, but it was interesting and fun.
Gotcha.
There were terrible times also, but
okay. We're gonna dissect that here in a second.
Yeah, in a little bit. Yeah.
So you go through basic. Is it anything that you thought initially that it was gonna be like, or what?
I thought it was gonna be difficult, to be honest, and it was not. The hardest part of basic training, like the whole process, was waking up early, just because I'm not a morning person, man, and I know you're not either.
I'm not even an evening person if I can avoid it. If I can avoid it, no evenings.
Yeah.
So you end up doing all of that. You got through basic. Now you're in AIT and basic, or advanced individual training and basic training is combined all
It's all
together.
set, yeah.
At what point does it now turn into now I'm about to learn how to actually do real infantry stuff as opposed to the?
I mean, it's just all kind of combined, man. Like there was no transition. Like OSET, like you don't get new drill sergeants, nothing like that. Like I was with the same drill sergeants the whole time. We stayed in the same barracks the entire time. We just did everything that was required. I mean, there wasn't really any separation, honestly. Like it kind of seemed. I think training for infantrymen is actually like 22 weeks now.
Okay, yep.
And I'm like almost positive it was 16 weeks before.
Dang.
So I mean, that's an extra 6 weeks, which is quite a
To
bit.
learn how to do what? Y'all about to learn how to snipe actually, or what?
No, we don't do any of that. I mean, battle drills, how to maneuver as like a buddy team, individually, as a fire team, as a squad, as a platoon, and
That
so
fly
on.
is bothering the fuck out of me, so I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm at a dirty place here, but I mean, it's just one fly.
Yeah. You would fool me from the outside of this place.
So you ended up finishing basic training in AIT, and now you get to determine on where you're going to go. How was that like? Or it was like you choose cards, pick a card, pick a cup?
It was interesting. Like I remember sitting around and they would say, like kind of like you'd think in a movie. Like you see movies, they say the name, where you're going. And they said 10th Mountain Division. And I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
I had no idea what that was. And then we did have a drill instructor, a drill sergeant, excuse me, that had been there, and he definitely laid it on a little thick with what I was going to experience.
Like in a good way, or like he sugarcoated it? He didn't tell you everything, or what?
He made it sound terrible.
Okay.
Which, don't get me wrong, there was some pretty bad times, but like he told us this story where they had went to sleep. Like they were out doing some sort of training exercise and went to sleep on a hill. It might not have been that steep of a hill, but it was a hill. There was an incline. And they put the lower enlisted at the bottom of the hill.
Okay.
And then as they went up the hill, I mean, the higher ranking people. So like as like water would run down the hill, it would just fill up their tent, which is the way he put it. I mean, this is over 10 years ago. So it's hard to remember the story, but that's how he explained it.
Dang. And you get there, and what is it like?
Man, I got there, and it was a lot of snow.
Okay.
Yeah, tons of snow.
What day did you, like what month? Is this like snow all the time regardless?
No, I got there in December, I believe. And then came home for Christmas and then went back. Yeah.
After training?
Yes. And, you know, I mean, there's quite a bit of snow there in the winter months.
I'd assume so.
Yeah.
It's winter.
Yeah, I mean, the lake effect snow is insane.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like, so you have the Great Lakes there, right?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, there are Great Lakes there.
Okay.
They're right nearby. Because you're over near them, you get something called lake effect snow, which is like heavier snowfall. Like there's more snow.
Because of water?
I guess. I don't know the physics.
If you're gonna give us the stuff, I want to get all the stuff. So okay, so no water. Water lake makes more snow. Got it. Okay. There's your tip. There's your tip of the day.
Yeah.
Water equals more snow.
I guess something like that.
And so you got there. You come home. How long were you there for? It became Christmas, and you're like, man, screw going back. Or did you like, can't wait to go back?
Go back to home,
or go back to Tent Mountain because you said you came home for Christmas.
You know, going home is actually something that, like, kind of sucks for service members, to be honest. Like, having been active duty, like, I know most service members could probably agree with me, like, having moved, been stationed in some sort of base or somewhere that's away from their home. Going home is just kind of a pain in the butt. Like, you have to pay a bunch of money. And
it's like an inconvenience to go home, is what you're saying?
A little bit. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, seeing your family is great.
For sure.
But, like, you pay all this money to go home, and then you get there, and then you have, like, everyone, all your friends harassing you to hang out and, like, making you feel bad if you don't hang out with them enough when you just spent all this money to go down there and you're trying to see everybody, trying to divide your time. It's stressful.
Yeah.
It's super stressful. So I mean that kind of became something I didn't like doing, even though I did it every year for some reason. I should have went on like a trip to like, I don't know,
Bahamas.
Thailand.
That's true. You are okay. Yeah,
Thailand.
no doubt.
Yeah.
That fits you. I'll say that.
Yeah.
That fits you.
Yeah, they got good food.
Sure.
It's very cheap.
Maybe South Korea even while we're at it.
South Korea,
You know, China.
China.
While we're at it, why not?
What about North Korea?
I mean, Vietnam. If we're just gonna go there, why not just go all of it?
Yeah.
So you end up going home, and now you're full-fledged back after Christmas, and you're doing Army stuff, and now you're part of 10th Mountain. What is that experience? Because you get there and you're what, E2, E3, E1?
I was in E3.
Okay, so you worked your way all the way up to E5 while you were there in active duty?
Yes, I was in E5 looking at getting E6 before I got out of
You
active
felt the
duty.
need to add that part in there, or what?
Yeah, I had to. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, because my impression of what active duty is comes a lot from what you mentioned how it is, because as we're recruiters, a person would go active duty and you would tell them, hey, it sucks, but, or hey, it's not really like that, but. So, I mean, you kind of have, what's great, you have both perspective of both the National Guard side and the active duty side. But I kind of want to hear about the stuff that actually sucked. Like we would see on TV or Army WTF of folks mopping in the rain.
I've done it.
Okay.
I've done it. Believe it or not, I have swept and mopped in the rain. Yeah.
What is the purpose of these antics? I mean, initially, sure, we can say it's due to, hazing, getting you acclimated to the squad, but
Yeah. So it really comes down to somebody didn't do something the right way the first time. So it's mass punishment
okay.
is really what it comes down to. So like a good example is as a team lead, when I was a team leader, still at the 10th Mountain Division, we checked our Joes, which are the lower enlisted, we checked their rooms every single morning.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to wake up earlier than I would normally have to wake up, drive on a base, go to the barracks, and go knock on their doors. They'd have to let me in, and I would have to inspect their room every single morning.
Every single morning. How many Joes did you have at this point? Or how many doors did you have to go knock on?
4 or 5.
Okay.
Yeah, generally 4 or 5. And, I mean, is it like that everywhere? No. But there's a reason.
Okay,
There's
keep
a
going.
reason. Like, you know what C4 is? You know, like plastic explosives?
Mhm.
It says do not eat on it. There's a reason. There's a
Does it
reason
really?
it says that. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Okay. But were the same antics that you had to do when you became a team lead the same things that they did to you? Like, you're like, all right, wait, I'm gonna be the difference when I become a team lead. I ain't doing none of that. I'm gonna make sure my guys XYZ.
You know, it was a little different when I got there. I mean, and from years previous, like there's always been a tradition called climbing the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, if you know, you know. It's just one of those things.
I feel like you told me that story.
Yeah. You gotta climb the mountain, turn your mountain tab, man.
Okay.
If you haven't climbed the mountain, you haven't earned your tab.
Okay.
And there's no mountains there, just so you guys.
Just so you understand.
Yeah. So it was a little different when I was a team lead. I mean, we didn't really haze them as much. The Army was transitioning to a new period. Kind of towards the end of when I was getting close to getting out, like the whole 10 push-up rule had came out, you know.
What is that?
You can only make someone do 10 repetitions of an exercise, and then you have to give them a break. So that became a thing. And, I mean, there's plenty of ways around that to...
For sure. You got to get creative.
I mean, there's smart soldiers,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's strong soldiers. So, like...
We're going to find out which one you are? Or
You're
what?
going to find out which one you are really fast, you know? And... kind of like going back to the room thing, like the reason that we had to check those rooms every day is because some of these people were dirty, like dirty, like have like bottles of piss under their bed,
Yuck.
pizza boxes, open like 40 open beers, like beer bottles, just stinking it up.
Now you think about these are you have to be at least 17 to even join the military, and you know they're coming out here on their own. Is it because I don't know what, like, you obviously, I feel like you're more of a clean freak. Everything that I see for you is generally nice. Why would somebody do that? Are y'all stressing them out that dang much to where now?
No, man.
It's like, oh no, I don't even want to leave my room because I don't want.
I mean, you got to think about it. I mean, we're coming from everywhere all over the country, man.
Mhm.
All of these people, it's grew up different ways, had different childhoods, were raised in different households. Like a good example is this guy. I'm gonna name drop. His name's Holderfield. Great kid. I remember being in something called GRTC. It's pre-deployment training in Louisiana, and we're in a Black Hawk flying. And
A black what?
a Black Hawk. It's
Okay, I didn't see the H. I didn't hear the H. I thought you said
I see
something
where you're
else.
going with this.
I
Okay.
didn't know if.
Yeah,
okay.
a Black Hawk anyway.
Okay.
It's a helicopter. The UH-60 is the nomenclature, just to get
Nomenclature.
on it with you. Okay. So we're flying in this helicopter, and he's in the window seat, and he's peeking out, and he sees this, like, it's just all woods, and then there's just like little open area with a bunch of trailers, and he's like, "That looks like my trailer down there," with the accent and everything, because he was from Louisiana.
God,
think.
dog. So coming to New York is kind of like Disney World for him. It's just different.
Like I said, man, upstate New York was different than like New York City. So like upstate New York was a lot of hunting, a lot of people living out in the middle of nowhere. It's more outdoorsy up there than New York City, in which you picture New York looking like.
Is that where you found your fond of nature stuff? Because I mean, I could imagine how much nature is in Reno.
There's a lot, actually.
Really?
Yeah, so you have the Sierra Nevada mountains.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna stop you right there. I feel like when people hear Nevada, we immediately think of Las Vegas.
Yeah, they do. Most
You
people
know.
do. They think of Las Vegas.
That's it. Don't try to add in another
8
city.
hours to the northwest of that is Reno.
8 hours? You can drive 8 hours within Nevada
You can drive way more than that in Nevada.
and still be in
It's-
Nevada.
And still be in Nevada. Yeah.
Due
and
to the
it's
mountains?
It's a terrible drive, man. Like, it's a couple mining towns, a lot of tumbleweeds.
What type of town?
Mining towns, like old mining towns.
Like
yeah,
pickaxe?
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. So yeah, like I was saying, there's a lot of old mining towns
Mm-hmm.
along the way, or a couple, not a lot. There's some brothels. I don't know if you know what a brothel is.
I'm sure I can Google brothel.
Yeah, it's best hamburger stop on the way. No, I'm just kidding.
God,
I have no
dog.
idea. I definitely didn't stop. It's a trailer.
Yeah.
It's not. Doesn't look good.
Ugh.
Yeah. There's a clown hotel on the way.
That's the name of it?
Yes. and
Like the
it's
whole thing
terrifying.
is
The whole theme is clowns. I don't know how you feel about clowns.
I mean, it just sounds grungy. It's already in the middle of nowhere from what you're saying. We're not in the city.
So that clown hotel is actually in a town. It's
Okay.
In a decent, nicer kind of town.
Little Rock? Like a Little Rock type of
No, way smaller than that.
Okay.
Yeah, way smaller than that. But it's in like a little city.
Gotcha.
Like I said, I want to call it a town because it's I feel like smaller than a city. But,
Gotcha.
You know, I don't know.
A pub. You can call it a pub. Try that. Try pub.
A pub?
Yeah, there we go. All right, so it's in a pub, but then let's kind of go back to your guy from people coming from different towns and stuff
Yeah.
like that because it's really dirty in these barracks. You're having to go and check all this crap, and at this point, let's say you go into Joe Blow's room and he has sugar honey iced tea everywhere. What have they recommended that your course of action be, other than, hey buddy, make sure you clean this up before we get ready for PT?
So, I mean,
Are they giving you a list of, hey, McCreary, these are the 5 things you can do if they are not doing what you tell them to do?
I mean, so the correct answer is when you get a soldier, we're going to take a step back from where we're at right here, is you give them initial counseling. You tell them what they're expected to do, how they're supposed to perform, give them goals, all that stuff. And then you do periodic counselings. We did monthly counselings to give them kind of evaluations and see how they're doing, if they're on track, if they're performing well, if they're having issues, that kind of stuff.
You're a relatively young guy at this point. I mean, you're still young now.
Yeah.
They're training you up to be this person that now has to lead a baby group of people, or
Yeah.
what?
So as a team lead, you are. I mean, that's the first line leader that at the very bottom. I mean, that's it. Like you have Joes, the lower enlisted, and then once you hit generally corporal, I guess you could be a specialist, but normally sergeant, you're a team leader.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, and depending on where you're at, like I was in an infantry unit, so like I was a gun team leader for a long time, which is like a weapons squad inside of a weapons squad. And then I was a fire team leader for a while as well, which is more of in like a regular squad, like an I don't know, assault squad, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, however you want to describe it.
So what's going through your mind? Have you ever had one of those moments where you're like, screw this. Like, even at the lower level, but now you're more of a team lead. You're like, man, this is not, the juice isn't worth the squeeze at this point. Or was it just days where the juice wasn't worth the squeeze?
I mean, yeah. I mean, some of those days, man, were long days. Showing up at 5:30 a.m. and working till 5 p.m. a lot of the time.
I was assuming that being on active duty is just like a regular job, like a 9 to 5.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Like you had to show up. Like, I mean, so PT generally started at 7, right?
Jesus.
So if PT starts at 7, you need to be there 15 minutes prior, according to the first sergeant, and then your platoon sergeant wants you 15 minutes there prior to that. So now you're there at 6:30. Okay, so that's a hard time, 6:30. Now I also have to check 4 to 5 rooms. I need to be there like at 6.
Yeah.
So now I need to wake up at 5 a.m.
To get yourself ready.
To get ready, be awake, drive all the way to base because I didn't live on base, didn't want to live there, and get all that conducted and then be there on time.
God bless. So an hour and a half before your day actually starts is where your day would normally start.
Yes. And I mean, as a team leader, you are responsible for these people, these younger soldiers. Like, they are your responsibility. And a lot of them have no idea. They don't know anything. They don't know anything about finance, about credit, about buying a car. Half of them want to get married to the first girl they see. Like, it's wild.
Legit?
Yes.
Just because they have a couple dollars, or because
you
what?
can't really say, like, no, you can't marry them. Like, you can't do that.
So what do you do?
You give them advice and, tell them you'd be there for them. Try to be someone they could look up to. I still, less over the last couple of years since it's been so long, but when I got out for a couple of years after that, I had a few soldiers reach out to me and tell me I was the best team lead that they had ever had because I actually cared about their personal life. I looked at them as a real person, not just a soldier.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then with you just dealing with all this stuff, different personalities, different people coming from different countries, different all of this is different, but whereas you initially came from Reno and you necessarily didn't have a plan, you was like, man, screw this, I'm gonna just go ahead and get out, I'm gonna find something to do. So now you're experiencing all this within a matter of how long you're active duty? You said 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, a little over 4 years.
So in that time, you also mentioned that you end up getting a deployment. So explain what that piece looks like. You have all these new guys who don't essentially know anything, or do they dang near turn to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and you're like, oh man, this is great. They know exactly what they're doing now, or what? No,
man. So like, I mean, you have to train them from the ground up. Like, most of these soldiers get out of basic training and they don't know up from down. I mean, they learn a little bit there, but I mean, you gotta think about it. Like, that stuff, learning so much stuff in such a small, like a short span of time, getting it to stick and actually like make it like
muscle memory.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. Like firsthand knowledge, like front of the brain kind of thing.
Yeah,
it takes longer than that. So like, they might kind of know about a little bit of stuff, but when they actually show up, like, you have to go over all of it again. So like, as an infantryman, like I said, battle drills, 5 general orders, like that kind of stuff, because you want them to be an overall well-rounded soldier. You want them to know how to do land navigation.
Yeah,
you want them to know how to do like first aid stuff, like all of this, which they might have breezed over in basic training, but like
we're bringing it to the front of the brain now.
Yes, and which is a lot of the time we did something called sergeant's time, which, I mean, you get all your soldiers together and you train them daily, because, I mean, you got to think about it. As an infantryman, what is our job? We shoot guns, we close and engage with the enemy. That's our job, right?
Are y'all actually doing that every single day? That's training where, hey, we're going to...
So that's what I'm getting to right now. So, like, we're not doing that every day. So what do you do in the times that you're not doing that? There's a lot of sitting around. You can't just do it, I assume, because you're in active duty, you're infantry, your job every single day is infantry stuff. Well, you got to think about it. Like, even from the guard perspective, how, like, all of the stuff that has to happen for us to go out to the field. It's the same thing on active duty. We can't just, like, pack up and go roll out. Like, there has to be all of this stuff done, like a risk analysis, all of this other stuff too.
Even though y'all are always in this space.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you're just on a base. Like you to go out to the field, like you have to have all that stuff done and have to have a range reserved, and if you need ammunition, you have to have that done, and there's a lot of logistics behind it. You need to have food.
Yeah.
So
God bless. I'm thinking just because you're on active duty and your whole job, you sign up to be infantryman. At what point does it? Because I mean, you're doing more managing at this point. Am I understanding that right? Or you are still doing infantry stuff?
So as a team lead, no, you're still definitely doing infantry stuff. Like you're just leading a team. So whereas like an individual, like you can't really do much as an individual. Now you get into like buddy teams.
The shooter can.
Yeah, you could shoot by yourself, but who's
No,
gonna
I'm
cover
talking
you?
about the shooter Mark Wahlberg or whoever.
Oh, okay, we getting into fake stuff now.
Okay.
But you get into buddy teams, which is above IMT, like individual movement techniques, buddy team movement, and like that's kind of like the next step up. We teach them for movement. One person moves, the other covers them while they move, and then you continue on to like a fire team. You can have 2 people move, 2 people cover them. And there's different types of bounding, different types
So
of
you're
movement
learning all of these strategies that you would use in actual combat, but you're more so doing it from an exercise standpoint to still push it to the front of the brain piece, right?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, and we would go over this stuff constantly. Like I said, I mean, we didn't do this stuff every day. So what we would do with all this free time is we would teach classes.
Gotcha.
Lots of classes. We would dispatch vehicles to get vehicles ready, make sure they were ready to go to the field if we're going to go out. And other than that, we would just do classes.
I feel like you're pretty good at teaching classes. I've heard a few of your classes. And then I'm talking about more so RSP. I don't know how you do in high school. Probably not that good. But from an RSP standpoint, like when it comes to all of these infantry tactics and words and stuff, I feel like, and I don't know if I'll give you an accolade, I feel like you're pretty good at words. You're good at all these words that people need on the military side. So with you not doing, because they say in the Guard, you're not really Army, but you still, when you're in that environment, you still bring a lot of that training there. How do you maintain that type of thought? Or was it so much ingrained in active duty, it's like, I damn near got to have a concussion to forget this type of stuff?
Well, I mean, for one, I'm proud of you for knowing the word accolade.
Okay.
So we're going to start there.
I see where this is going.
Rolling on along, okay?
For sure.
I mean, being able to teach classes and train stuff, like, I mean, it's just like, I mean, you used to teach high school classes. First and foremost, I give an amazing high school presentation.
Okay.
But second off, like, if you know your subject matter, it's easy.
Yeah, but you still know it even though you're not doing active duty.
I taught it so many times.
I feel like some of
it's
your
memorized.
infantry guys would joke at you for maybe being a recruiter. But like, hey, first off, you're in the Guard. Active duty always dumps on us for being in the Guard.
Oh, yeah.
And then being that you came from infantry, it's kind of like the ultimate, for lack of better words, you're a female dog at this point.
Yeah,
Is where I would say
a
they
marketing NCO in the National Guard.
We can talk about that piece in a minute too. Oh man, so like I said, you do pretty good at classes. How do you maintain that or do you just have to maybe do a quick refresher before you know you're doing?
I mean,
IMTB, ABC, RSP, like all these stuff that you say that these tactics.
Well, I mean, if I know I'm going to teach a class, I'm definitely going to brush up on it. I mean, even though I do have all of it memorized, I mean, our doctrine doesn't really change. And there's also 100 ways to skin a cat, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, there is our doctrine, but then a lot of things are done differently at unit level or even lower platoon level, team level, squad level.
Like on how they want it.
Well, yeah, because everyone has their own SOPs, their own standard operating procedures, like their own way of doing things.
So
right?
walk that down for me real quick. So Army says this.
So yeah, there's doctrine, right? The way things are actually done, and then some things are changed and done differently. And I mean, I was told, I don't remember who exactly told me this, but it's a quote that always stuck with me. That's one of the reasons that the United States Army and the military in general is one of the most deadly fighting forces in the world. You can find our doctrine all over the internet. Anybody can, right? But we don't follow a lot of it. We do different stuff. Like walking across the road. There's tons of different ways you can walk across the road. And the example for that is a linear danger area.
What?
A LDA or a linear danger area.
Okay.
Crossing a road. There's tons of different ways to do it.
You talking about like a doggone little gravel road that you drove down, like crossing that, you got to have a special doctrine to do that?
Yeah, well, think about it. You're walking through the woods, you got trees and you have concealment and even cover from the trees, walking across the road, you're out in the open.
McCreary, I can just run across the road. I mean, what are
Yeah, but what if you have a whole platoon size element? There's over 30
everybody
people.
run quick?
Okay, what happens if a truck drives down the road and sees you guys running across, hops out with a machine gun, and mows you guys all down? I mean,
then you.
that happened in GRTC.
Okay.
Yeah. To opt for it got us.
So all these situations that can happen during training or during a scenario, there's no way on God's green earth you're able to kind of cover all of those, or is there?
I mean,
I'm going down a rabbit hole, but
expect the unexpected, I guess, is the best thing to answer your question.
Yeah.
You know, like you can train to experience things, but I mean, you can go over so much. I mean, there could always be an unexpected thing, though. I mean,
like Peter Pan or something.
yeah,
comes
Peter Pan
and
flies down
fucking
from the sky
drops
with an
it.
AK-47.
Yeah,
I
just
don't know.
mows
Dude.
you down for sure.
Yeah, mows you down. He's got one. He does that thing that you were talking about earlier, pegging. Is that what you call it?
Okay, I never brought that up. And so you got multiple ways to skin a cat. And so then when it comes to you actually teaching a class, you just fit for the narrative there, or so what's happening at that point?
I mean, teaching the class. I mean, going over through everything doctrine wise, the correct way the Army's put it out to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then like if you have extra stuff, throw it at the end. I mean, that's what I would generally do.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you're teaching them the standard, you can't be wrong.
Okay.
Okay. You teach them the standard. And then if like your platoon has a way they like to do things, then you add a caveat to the end. Be like, hey, this is doctrine, but this is how we do it in this platoon.
You didn't use caveat, right? I did this with Burke a couple days ago.
Caveat's yes, it is. That's definitely
Caveat means warning.
Means warning?
Yes, look it up. Caveat literally means warning, not to piggyback off of. And I'm saying this for all our military folks. The way you guys the way we're using caveat is not the way it intended. I don't know if there was some sergeant major.
A warning or proviso of specific stipulations, conditions, or limitations. So something different happening.
You're gonna try to squeeze that in there, huh? Okay.
It's right there. Hey,
Yeah,
hey guys,
oh my God,
zoom
that
in.
is not
Zoom
how
in.
that's supposed to. Oh, okay, I'll let you have it. So now 4 years is done. You said what? Hey, screw you, government. I'm out of here.
Yeah, decided to get out. No one actually even asked me if I wanted to stay.
Because you probably weren't good or what?
No, that's cap. I mean, I had got a couple AAMs while I was there. I had an RCOM for my deployment. I won NCO of the month for a month. They wanted me to continue on through the I don't know what the next one would have been. NCO of the something, I don't know.
Maybe quarter, maybe.
Maybe for the division, I don't know.
Oh, okay, I
but
got you.
But it was for the division.
Okay.
I won that. I got promoted to sergeant very quickly. I was looking at getting promoted to staff sergeant. Probably would have made it right at 5 years, which would have been pretty impressive.
Pretty quick, yeah.
Yeah.
But there was nobody that said, McCreary, please stay.
No one,
please.
I mean,
Hey.
people brought it up. I was also pretty disgruntled at
From
this time.
what? Now,
From-
like, what's happened to make you disgruntled at this point?
Man, the op tempo. I mean, you got to
What does
think
that
about
mean?
like the amount of training we would do. I was injured. My knee was hurting all the time. And all like what people always think, the grass is greener, but it's not, you know? So I think that's kind of like my mindset. Like I was like, man, I could do something way better than this, make better money, et cetera, et cetera. But realistically, the military is not a bad gig, you know?
Was it tough as a civilian? I mean, because it's not like you came out flat broke on the side of the road saying spare change.
No.
You know, you started to go to school a little bit at this point.
Yeah, so when I got out, like I said, I moved back to Reno, and
No, you love that, huh?
yeah, I mean, it was nice seeing some of my friends, and getting to made some new friends that I still talk to today.
Some aren't here anymore.
Some aren't here anymore.
Because
You really want to make this dark, okay?
I'm just saying.
Hey, don't be one of them.
You know?
What is it, 21 today? Something
Yeah,
like that?
21
today.
21 Savage.
21 Savage.
about
Can
that.
you do something for me?
Please.
Okay. I don't like how we turned this into a joke. But back in Reno, started going back to school. So I was going to school, I was taking 4 classes, technically full time.
Online, or you actually go to a
I was
regular
going
school?
in school and then sometimes doing some online on the side.
You went from a doggone super fighter to now being a regular person,
Yeah, schmo.
what was that like?
Transitioning was weird. It was a weird transition because, I mean, like, I'd wake up sometimes freaking out that I was
Late for
work
something?
or late to something, which, don't get me wrong, it's still a big deal in the civilian world, but like, it's like goddamn heart attack level in the military. Like, if you're late for something, like, people show up to your house and kick your door.
Like, where you at?
Yeah,
where
exactly.
You at, motherfucker?
But you know, I was doing that, going to school full time, technically 4 classes, like I said. I was working a full-time job at a dental office as a dental tech.
Oh
and
shit!
Then, you said what?
I could imagine you looking like the guy from Horrible Bosses. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah, it's a good movie. And then I was also working part-time at a gun range.
Okay.
As a gun safety.
Just because you liked weapons at this point? Like, you just really liked it?
It was a cool job. I mean, I got to come in and shoot machine guns for almost free. I just had to pay for the ammo.
Yeah. So it wasn't free then?
No, I mean, pay for the ammo. I didn't have to pay to rent the guns, though.
It wasn't free,
And
though.
the people I worked with were super cool.
For sure.
A lot of them were prior military or prior police officers. It was actually a very cool place to work.
A lot of guys who couldn't cut it in the real world, so they came to this? Or what?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
But I did that part-time, and, I mean, you can imagine working 2 jobs and going to school full-time.
No, I can't, but...
It sucked.
Yeah.
It sucked. I got through maybe a year and a half of school, and I was like, this is ass.
Really?
Yes.
So that's, 2 semesters and some change?
Yeah,
You did a
something
year.
like that.
This is the first time you started school since doing adult stuff from military, or did you do any school within the military or
No,
during your
like
active
I
duty?
had been out of the education system for like 5 years at this point. Yeah. Yeah. Like it was ass.
Yeah.
Math got me, man.
That shit humbled you.
Yeah, I actually ended up retaking high school algebra in college.
As a grown man, how are you at this point doing college algebra or high school algebra?
Like 24 years old, bro. Like
Embarrassing.
yikes.
Just embarrassing.
Yeah. But I mean, it went well. School was good, but no, like I said, I came to that point eventually that I was like, man, the military wasn't that bad, but maybe I'll look at doing something different.
How much time is spent before
I did that?
Yeah.
About a year and a half.
Okay, so every bit of the time you were in school, you kind of came to the conclusion. Okay.
Because I mean, there was just a lot going on. I was kind of ready to get out of Reno again. Sitting in one spot for too long, I kind of just get like, I don't know, stir crazy, I guess. I want to go experience the world, go experience other things, meet new friends. I mean, I've got friends all over.
You're a peacock. You got to fly.
Yeah, gotta let
You
me
know what I'm
fly,
saying?
baby. You know, like despot.
Yeah, shit, you got to get out of there. Okay.
I got friends all over the U.S. that, like, I mean, I could hit them up, be like, hey, man, can I come up to Chicago?
Yeah.
Hey, can I come to Denver? Can I come to Washington? And just go hang out.
How
with
great
them
is Washington now, huh? That's a good reason to go there now, huh?
Is it what?
How great is it now to be able to go to Washington?
It's nice.
You know?
Yeah,
it's pretty cool reasons to go to Washington at this
nice.
point, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Great friends in Washington.
Yeah,
I'd
good
assume.
friends,
I'd
good
assume.
friends,
I'd assume.
Yeah.
So you decide to go to the Guard now. What is that like? You still got your active duty homies?
Yeah. So going to the Guard actually was like a super interesting process. And when I would sell people in the military as a recruiter, actually, this is something I would use on a regular basis. Because you might think it might be easy to be like, hey, man, I was already in the military. I can just go back. It's going to be easy. I've done it before. But I'll tell you, man, like I went into the recruiter's office and I was like, nah. I told him no. The recruiter did not sell me, and I left.
What happened? They were like, hey, McCreary, you want to do this? I'm like, nah, I'm good, actually. I don't even know why I came in here.
Came in, I got the spiel from him, and I mean...
Because he wasn't Incredible Hulk like the active duty guy, or what?
No, it's just... I was more grown up at this point. That's not what I was looking. But he just did not sell the things to me that persuaded me to want to join. Like, I mean, it might... I kind of remember him just being kind of monotone, too. Like, not very enthusiastic. And, I mean, that can literally make or break an enlistment, you know, like I do. Like, the recruiter can make or break an enlistment. If you are just a boring person, like, no one's going to want to join.
Why would I want to be part of this?
Exactly. And Didn't do it for me. Probably a month or two went by. Went back, met my recruiter, who was at the time Staff Sergeant Bradley, and dude was super cool. We were talking, had me ready to do it that day, and started doing paperwork.
How long did it take you for? So you what? You just said, hey, because the guy was fat and monotone. You're like, I ain't gonna go to
He
you.
wasn't fat, but I mean, he just didn't sell me, man. Didn't
And so
have-
what? You just went to a whole nother office?
I went back to the same office actually, and it was just a different guy.
Okay, that was in there.
Yep, different guy in the
Okay.
office, and we talked for a bit. He started working on my packet, the stuff that we do for like initial appointments, the IAs, and he's probably about halfway through, and he's like, "Man, you ever thought about being a recruiter?" I was like, "Not really," but
Based off of what? Just in general, he just came up. Not obviously you're anybody can talk to you, but is that more so kind of where it came from?
how I ended up being a recruiter.
For made him ask that question.
I would say it was more of my demeanor and my personality.
Yeah.
I'm very outgoing. I like to talk.
Mm-hmm.
I like to banter.
Yeah.
I
always gotta have some good banter.
Yeah, of course.
Gotta
a
have
little
that.
back and forth.
Gotta have a little
man.
back and forth.
Yeah, none of that brain dead shit.
Mm-mm.
No. But yeah, I mean,
That
we
one
talked.
person is probably okay. Go ahead.
Oh, you said what?
No, I said that one.
But yeah, we talked for a bit and we got along really well. He was super cool, and he asked me, and I was like, "Yeah, man. I mean, I'd be down." And he actually helped me do my entire AGR packet.
Nice.
Like, yeah, I mean, just kind of next level for a recruiter. And there's another guy that helped me as well too. I can't remember his name for the life of me right now, but there was another recruiter in that office who was
He
helping.
must
me out
didn't do
a
that
lot,
great of a
too.
job if you don't remember.
No, he
him, huh?
did. He did. They did a
I
lot.
don't remember his name. So
Yeah, it's been years. Also, like 6-7 years.
what did Creed say?
I don't remember.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Or is that Nickelback? I can't.
I was going to Nickelback.
Maybe it's been a while since I first saw you.
Yeah.
Near my head up high.
I was kind of
It's
more
been a
thinking about that
while
photograph.
since yeah. Look at this. They're dang near one and the same person. Creed is just, I guess, Nickelback's big brother, older brother. I feel like they're one and the same.
Almost like the Pink Pony Club.
You keep throwing that song in here. You got a brand sponsorship from them or something? Like, what's happening? Hey,
But yeah, so like I said, he ended up doing like most of my packet for me and helping me, and I had been in the Guard for maybe a month or so. My first AGR interview.
okay.
I
In
went
Reno?
up for it, and so I drove to Carson City, which is where our headquarters was, and did the interview. And a lot of the time, sometimes like they have people picked out already before they even do the interview.
I don't know that.
Well, they already had someone selected
Okay.
to be a recruiter. So I didn't get it, which was, I didn't really realize at the time because like I didn't really understand how great the AGR program is. But I was like kind of devastated about it. I was like, man, like I know I'm great. I got a lot to sell for myself. I'm a great soldier. I'm a great NCO.
Some
And
would say.
I didn't get it. And I kind of was hard on myself about it. And then maybe a month or so later, they had another one. I interviewed and I got it. It was down in Las Vegas, and that's kind of what moved me down to Las Vegas.
Is that 8 hour to Reno from Vegas? It's that 8 hour?
Yeah, that 8
Oof.
hours. Yeah, it's a tough one.
Is it that much a difference in city? Like if people say, hey, I'm from Vegas or I'm from Reno, is that like the equivalent of us here saying, hey, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Houston, Texas, and we're here in Little Rock. Is that like what I should imagine in regards of distance where they're that completely different?
I mean, Vegas
Communities
is a different animal, man.
yeah.
Like, you got to think about it. Las Vegas has, like, the Strip. It's got Fremont Street.
Celine Dion.
Celine Dion. It's got a bunch of... It's got Thunder Down Under. I know you all about that.
I don't even know
You
who
know
that
all about
is,
that.
but Usher's there.
Usher?
What is this? I'll be doggone you talk about me on my podcast.
Look up videos.
Let me go see. I'm not going to look up videos. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to entertain your mess.
But, I mean, there's a lot of really cool stuff there. Some of the billboards are hilarious. It'd be like... I don't know, a couple years ago, they'd be like, now hiring class of 2021 because they just graduated high school.
Oh, this is a strip club.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's what some of the billboards were.
Okay.
Thunder Down Under is like a male strip club, though. I know you wouldn't know.
Oh, I see what you did. I see what you did. Okay. Not bad. Not great, but not bad. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was really cool.
You're recruiting now in that mess.
Yes. Which I mean, it was different, very different than recruiting in Arkansas.
How do you even? You're not like going up and down the strip.
No,
like,
absolutely not. Those
okay.
are all tourists.
Okay,
man.
okay.
No, like I've always stayed in my high school.
Mhm.
I mean, the guy that taught me, his name's Paul Duncan. He did really like a lot of my mentorship when I was learning to recruit, and I mean, recruiting was very interesting for me, and just like it was for you and a lot of other people, because a lot of these old dudes are like, "Oh, recruiting was the easiest thing in the world." I mean, I don't think it was that hard, but almost the entire period of time I recruited, we were dealing with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's kind of interesting to think about.
Yeah.
My first year mission, I only had like a 6 because I was only recruiting like half the year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then going in after that, I'm pretty sure that next year was COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You're in Arkansas at this point.
no, that was in Nevada.
Ooh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So what made you come on over into Arkansas?
There was a lot of reasons I decided to move here. One of the biggest was career potential. I wanted to be able to promote it. Like I want to retire, and to retire, I want to be at least like I would love to be an E9. Don't get me wrong, but like I don't really want to settle for anything below that actually. But in Nevada, they only had like 1 or 2 E8 positions. In here in Arkansas,
Is Nevada not as huge as I think it is, or
it's a small state. It's categorized as a small state.
What?
Yeah.
is it
Which
because of all the vast openness?
It's weird because I think the population of Arkansas and Nevada are very similar.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that comes down to how many units we have here in Arkansas versus Nevada. But I mean, recruiting in Nevada was, like I said, it was different. Going into that second year of recruiting, I mean, COVID-18. I mean, yeah, that would have been my second year. Is really when it was happening. Like schools closed down, you know, and I mean, there was a point like we were barely even going to work because I mean, schools were closed. I mean, and people didn't want to get COVID. You know, people had families, they didn't want to get the chance of getting COVID, so people hid away. People ran out of toilet paper. It was rough. It was rough. We had to do some unspeakable things.
No doubt. So, so when you came to, you don't have to go deep into any details, but when you came to Arkansas, you had some personal stuff that you had to overcome. What was that like? Because now you're kind of putting yourself on a, hey, this is my first, or on the other side of it, this is our first impression of this guy. It's not good.
No.
And so what was that like to overcome?
Not going into some super deep details. I mean, having something bad happen to you, I mean, it's tough, especially because perception is everything.
Absolutely.
Perception is everything. So, like, having something like that happen, you know, I had a very bad outlook from a lot of people, even though they didn't really know what happened. They just assumed and knew what they were told.
Assumption is awful to do in the military.
It is. And, you know, we had an awesome commander at the time, Ted Sharp, who gave me the benefit of the doubt. And at the end, like, I hadn't done anything wrong. So,
yeah,
that's why I was allowed to stay in the program.
Gotcha.
You know?
What's the potential for you saying, all right, hey, I know because all you did was just transfer from one AGR to the other AGR? And then as you came over to our AGR, the idea or the initial thought was going to be, no more AGR for you. They were going to kick you out AGR completely. And you're already in Arkansas.
I mean, if you get in trouble, like in the civilian world, depending on how you get in trouble, and the kind of trouble you get into can make it so you can't be a recruiter.
Okay.
So like, you have to be able to pass POSTA for one, right?
I don't know what POSTA is.
POSTA is like kind of like an extra security clearance kind of thing, like a background check.
Gotcha.
More of a background check actually. So you can go into high schools. I mean, you're around kids all day.
That's right.
You know, you have to have an extra background check ran on you. And then depending on like it could get way worse. Like I've had friends get thrown out of the military because they ended up with like a felony. If you get a felony, like some sort of charge, you catch a charge and get convicted of a felony, you can't even be in the military.
Dang.
I mean, it might be for something nonviolent or whatever, but if you have a felony and you can't have a weapon, which if you can't have a weapon,
Why are you
you
here?
can't be in the military because you can't qualify.
Right. Like,
So-
why are you here at this point?
Exactly. So I mean, like a lot of people, like, I mean, overall, like, don't really realize how easy it is to lose your career in the military just from some craziness. You
Yeah.
know, like
Some would call it foolishness.
foolish. Yeah. Well, I'd say foolishness on, I mean, my own part, but also foolishness on like the system itself. Because, I mean, taking like I don't know what's a good saying, like just making a mountain out of a molehill, I guess.
Yeah,
is
yeah,
kind of
making
what
it bigger than
happened,
what it actually
you
was.
know, because nothing really happened at
Yeah.
all, but it sounded like some crazy shit.
I thought you were a murderer
I
to the
th-
extent. I thought, man, this guy's a Jeff Dahmer over here.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, Hernandez told me some stories. She said she was walking across. She's like, "That's the guy.
Yeah.
That's the guy right there."
And so you have to overcome all of that. And at what point, like, how long is this? Because you get to Arkansas, you're having the personal thing be a factor. And what are you doing until then? And like, what is your idea of what people are thinking of you?
Man, that was tough. I'll be straight with you. I'll shoot straight, and it was
Shoot
one of
straight
the,
with me,
one of the
please.
toughest times of my entire life, to be honest. Dealing with, I mean, I kind of just had to say whatever
Mhm.
about what people think, because I mean, you didn't want to dwell on it and make yourself
Mhm.
more depressed or more sad. But like I couldn't recruit because like I was under like going through like some law stuff.
Mhm.
So I couldn't recruit. So they ended up putting me in supply, and I was just hanging out. I knew everybody thought I was a dirtbag,
Mhm.
which is crazy because when I mean, I left the Army, and I felt like I was
Rock star.
a rock star, exactly. Maybe not towards the end because I was not giving a fuck,
Mhm.
but like
Yeah.
up into the point where I didn't give a fuck, I was
Yeah.
a rock star, you know.
Up until that point.
But yeah, dealing with what people thought about me, dealing with the overhead, like knowing the consequences of what could happen,
Mhm.
like the end result, like I could end up not being in the military, which that actually wasn't really a possibility because I wasn't facing anything like felony level,
Gotcha.
but I was facing some sort of stuff. So,
Mhm.
which I mean, if you can't pass POSTA, you can't be a recruiter.
Yep.
So I mean, if I couldn't pass POSTA, I wouldn't have been able to be a recruiter.
Gotcha.
So I mean, that was forefront of my mind. Like, what am I gonna do? I
Mhm.
have to find a whole new career.
Were you already kind of plan A and plan B and plan C?
I
And
was trying to,
Yeah.
yes, I was. And you know, I think that was more of me just freaking out
Mhm.
because thinking back now, there was no reason to freak out like that because, like, I mean, I knew what had happened. Other
Yeah.
people knew what had happened. Like, the people that actually mattered knew what had happened.
Yeah.
And like, there wasn't any evidence proving that I had done anything actually wrong.
Mhm.
Very wrong anyway.
Other than
And
coming to Arkansas.
yeah. So there wasn't really a reason for me to think that I needed to find a whole new life, which is what my mindset was going through.
Yeah.
Spiraling, as you might think, you know.
Dang.
Very depressed.
Even though you're an adult, you've handled probably, even though you've actually deployed and stuff, you are comparing this particular situation to something that's almost as stressful as like deployments and stuff level.
I was way more stressed out than I'm on my deployment.
More stressed out at the deployment or more stressed out?
Here because of this. Because
Wow.
well, I've also never been in trouble in my entire life, really. Like, this is the first time I had ever been in trouble for anything. And the fact that they blew it up the way they did, like, I almost believed everything, even though I knew it wasn't, it wasn't true.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, I don't know how much you know about it, but like domestic violence is a big thing, man.
Mhm.
And people take it seriously, but as a man, like, we kind of just get the low end of the totem pole.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
'Cause that bitch hit me.
Yeah.
That bitch. And then
I'm gonna just say that
and-
she hit me. Goddamn.
and I never hit her. I never
Mhm.
touched the woman.
Yeah.
So,
Is that because you can't pick your women right?
you know, that's the only one that's ever happened with. So,
Yeah.
she was crazy. But, you know, some
Hey,
say
say 1 out of 10. Those are good
crazy
odds.
bitches got the best pussy, though, supposedly.
I got good eyes after other than this one. So so you end up doing the recruiting thing here. You are halfway decent at it. And so
Yeah.
I didn't see you get soldier or I didn't see you get doggone directors 54 or anything.
I
That's
mean,
why I
did
say
you get
halfway
that?
decent.
You picked that up?
I picked up so many NGB awards.
Okay,
That was
so,
secondary.
So wait, you're saying no, you didn't get defense.
So what I'm saying is, so you ended up doing halfway decent as a recruiter.
Yeah,
And
I ended up finishing, excuse me, first in Alpha Company 1 year, and technically second in the battalion.
so not first in both.
I mean, I think I should have been first still to this day. I think there was a technicality.
No doubt.
Double
no doubt.
enlistments didn't count.
Oh, it was based off of that.
They didn't count, and then they also took a couple enlistments from me when
They
they
took
changed
'em,
from RY to FY.
They took them, huh?
They took them, bro.
You know, maybe if you were ahead, that wouldn't. I mean, we can go all day about
Hey,
what if.
you have an MSM?
Here's the thing:
got an MSM?
when you're so being that you end up doing great at recruiting, you
You
ended
got
up
an MSM?
you end up doing another career change. That's crazy. So you went into a whole new field that would be almost the left side of you doing infantry stuff.
Yes, going to recruiting and
Well, so you go from infantry to first off the National Guard,
yeah.
active duty infantry, and then you come to the National Guard, and then you go National Guard recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
Come to Arkansas to also do National Guard recruiter, and then you end up doing another career change
Mm-hmm.
in marketing now.
And marketing. I mean, marketing is I wouldn't say really a career change.
Okay.
I would say it's more of a broadening assignment
That's fair.
because I mean I'm still in the recruiting battalion,
Mm-hmm.
and which is where I'm going to kind of stay
Mhm.
for the remainder of my career in
some
sort
realm.
of realm.
Yeah.
Whether or not I decide to drop a Title 10 packet within the next year or two,
Mhm.
I mean that's up in the air. But I mean, this year I should be this next year I should pick up my E7.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And
Was that a burp or what? What was that?
yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
God
was a
bless you.
backwards
You need
burp.
like a Tums, something for your heartburn. Jeez. Fucking sounded spicy.
yeah.
Why is it so spicy?
Why is it spicy?
And so, your next course of action, kind of, what do you foresee yourself doing here in the next 3 to 5 and all that good stuff?
3 to 5.
Because you retire in how many years?
I got like 9.
Okay,
Like 9
okay.
more years. So I mean, I got a decent amount of time, especially if I pick up my 7 within like the next year
Mhm.
or so, because this is the first year I'm eligible.
Gotcha.
I'll have like 9-ish, maybe a little bit less years to make it to 8 and maybe 9,
Mm-hmm.
which would be phenomenal. I'm definitely going to retire. That's definitely, in the cards for me. I've gone far enough that it wouldn't make sense to get out.
I mean, you only did, 11 years, so I mean,
Yeah,
that's not
doesn't
necessarily
make sense
so
to get
far.
out.
I mean, it's not so far.
But I mean, what the next 5 years holds for me, I definitely won't be in Arkansas 5
Mhm.
years from now. There's,
Just because you need to change, like you were mentioning.
you're gonna have to take my shoelaces if I'm here in 5 years.
Okay. That's like one of those climb the mountains. If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
But which is not a joke, okay?
You really better take my shoelaces.
But yeah, I do not want to be here in
Mhm.
5 years. I want to move. ISTing is an awesome option, but the problem with that is it's kind of like restarting
Absolutely.
because you don't know anyone there. And as much as people don't want to say it's a thing, the good old boys club is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like all these dudes have been together, dudes and girls have been together for their entire career. They've
Mhm.
deployed together. They've worked together. They know all these people
Right.
together. And then I show up like, what's
Who-
good?
Yeah, who the hell are you?
Yeah, let me get that fucking job.
Yeah.
Get that fucking-
Hey, let me get that 8 up off you.
yeah. Hey.
Let me get that 8.
But which could happen.
Yeah.
Could happen. But statistically is less likely to happen,
Mhm.
Whereas like the Title 10 program is more like active duty. You move every 3 years.
Mhm.
So for one, I'm getting what I want. I
That's
can
right.
move. 2, there's more promotion potential.
And you're still in the guard.
Yep. Every position's E7 and up,
Mhm.
and there's more potential for E8 because it's countrywide. I mean,
Mhm.
there's a lot of places you can go. It's
Even
outside
over,
of the
I was
country
about to say,
too,
even
yeah.
outside the country.
Could go to Germany, Italy, Korea. One of our friends, our mutual friends, is looking to go into Korea right now.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's going to eat a lot of food there probably, huh?
yeah, he already does.
Okay. Oh, I'm just clipping this out and showing him that because I know exactly who you're talking about. Or you look at it as in, man, that food's different there. They don't use GMOs. He may start to look like old Clark Kent again, maybe.
Clark Kent. Okay,
Superman, you know who that is?
you think he's attractive
Clark Kent or him?
or him?
Here's the thing about dads. Here's the Here's the thing about dads. We got a stressful job already. I get why he's going through what he's going through. So that's how I would look at it.
Also, physical injury. He had physical injury, man.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you've had physical injury, and you're not.
Not what?
You're trying to say he's fat. Is what you're trying to say. You're trying to say he's
word
fat.
that-
Is
the
what
camel's
you're
mouth,
saying.
right?
You're trying to say he's fat.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
what injury did he have?
His hand.
Oh, the hand that
Yeah.
feeds his mouth, so
Yeah.
like he can. That if anything, that should help him not be the way he is.
He ate left-handed.
Oh, so he should have definitely eaten less if he was right-handed.
Yeah.
You're not giving him any justification to why he is the way he is.
Ambidextrous.
Yeah. I think that's mostly used in a different.
He could use both hands, dude.
Yeah, no, I get it.
He'll cold cock you with that left hand, bro. You gotta.
What does that mean?
You said what?
Cold what?
Cold cock you. Just,
What is
jag
cold
in the
cock?
face, man.
Oh,
Just
okay, just a
you, man.
punch.
Come on, man.
Where you from? New York, upstate?
No. I'm from
I've
Nevada.
never
We
heard
talked
that.
about this for like 40 minutes.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Terms
That's okay.
okay. So, McCreary, thank
Code
you so
switching.
much. Okay, did you see that clip about code switching?
did.
Do you even know about code switching?
I did.
Do
and I
white
do.
people have to code switch?
We do. Think about it. Everybody code switches.
Mm,
Think about it. Going from your friends to a professional environment, even with just like someone you're going to go shoot for, that's code switching. The more you know.
McCreary, so you feel like you used to recruit at Central High. I didn't even bring none of this stuff up.
Yeah.
You recruited at Central High School, and then you
Yes.
ended up recruiting where else? Or that was the only school?
Hall High School as well, and then North Little Rock High School as well.
You feel like you can't be yourself in all of those.
The type of person I am, I can fit in anywhere. First
Okay.
off.
Look,
But-
first off,
But I mean, like, let's say you put Parker Shipman down
at
there.
UAPB.
They ain't gonna like it. Actually, that happened already.
Yeah, I
they
know.
didn't like it. They told him never to come back. Now, and that's just gonna happen with some people.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm a zebra, man. I could fit in anywhere.
I don't know if that's the right
I
animal
don't know if
people
zebra
use.
is the right word.
Yeah, that's
actually.
not, definitely not the right word.
Uh,
Now we can kind of go around this the code switching piece later on, where we bring you back and do some cool stuff there. But the last thing I would love for you to kind of give insight to, and we'll be done, is when it comes to being resilient. What would you say to somebody who's probably going through a situation that maybe a little bit different, especially in a professional environment? What advice would you have for them?
So resiliency is, I mean, it's a cornerstone, man.
Mhm.
Like just to get through life, to be honest. And the way I kind of do that is with the 5 Ds.
Mhm.
Duck, dodge, dip, dive, and dodge.
Are those all individual words? I'll play that back and run it through.
Yeah.
But are those all separate words?
Yeah.
So you're saying if you just avoid it altogether,
Yeah.
just don't even get yourself in that
You
situation.
guys seen Dodgeball?
I have seen that. Great movie.
Dodgeball.
Great movie.
Yeah, but now to be more serious about it, I mean, the Army has a great program for resiliency. MRT, Master Resilience Trainer, that training. They have this saying called "hunt the good stuff," right? Hunting the good stuff just means finding the good things in life when you might have a lot of bad stuff going on, But I mean, if you can find the positives, then it won't seem as bad, because a lot of people kind of get bogged down and hyper focused on the negatives when bad things happen. Like, man, I got a flat tire. Man, I got in an argument with my boss at work. My wife's yelling at me, and it spirals down and down and down. And I've had a lot of friends go through a lot of stuff. And I mean, in the military, there's a lot of programs about like suicide prevention and stuff like that. Because I mean,
Shit's real.
unfortunately, we have a pretty high suicide rate in the military because it's a kind of a stressful job.
Yeah.
It's performance evaluated a lot of the time, especially when you get into the higher ranks, NCOERs. Do you get promoted based on like how well you did? Like if you're not doing well, I mean, and you get passed over multiple times, I mean, it's gonna hurt you personally. And like looking past those things, like appreciating your family, appreciating the good things you have in life, hunting the good stuff is just kind of something that helps people move past that bad stuff.
Heard that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for having for let me start that fucking over. I fucked all that shit up. There's no way for me to kind of top that.
Yeah.
Which is a gay slur that people use in the gay community.
Which one?
Top.
Top.
Have you heard that?
Like a power top?
Yeah, or power bottom.
Power bottom?
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself a power top or bottom?
I'm probably editing all this last half out. But so appreciate y'all so much. Now, if you want more information on how you can steal, or if you would like for me to come out and steal from you, I would love to be your friend. You can always make sure you like and subscribe and all this good stuff. But down below, there's also an email where we can get more information about what you do, so you can kind of highlight who you are and all that good stuff. So again, thank you guys so much for allowing me to take from McCreary, because I'm not going to say I appreciate him for allowing me to steal, because great thieves don't ask. We just do. So if you want more information about this, or if you want to see some more clips, or if you just want to be able to come and talk to your boy, make sure you like and subscribe. Hit us up in the DMs. But not only that, stealing is easy. It's only easier if you can steal from your friends. Peace.
Stay positive, test negative.
Hey, to whoever may need this nugget of encouragement, things will be alright, so quit your worrying. I get it, the odds seem stacked back against the wall, but even consider it such, know you'll stand tall. Sat and watch from the sidelines one too many times. Wicked games we play make me wanna lose my mind. Found solitude knowing it'll be over soon. Ever need a boost, count on me for the 1-2. Trouble don't last.